My name is Brian Watkins, and this is a tutorial in VBA, or Visual Basic for Applications, as part of my Accounting 386 class. And what we're going to do is take an older assignment, the formula building exercise, where we go through these rules, commissions, exceptions, target, and then a bonus, to come up with a sales commission being paid to these lists of employees over here. And instead of doing it by formula, we're going to do it in VBA. So all VBA starts from the Visual Basic editor. We're doing this project here, so I'm going to insert a module to hold the code. So this module 1. This personal one, that's my Excel workbook, my personal macro workbook. So to put our module in this Accounting 386 formula building exercise, we first download a module. And I've asked you to do this VBA as a user-defined function. And a function we'll call sales commission. I think I spelled it right. Sales commission. Now the most important part of defining a user-defined function is what variables are you going to use in your function. So the variables we're going to use are sales, which I should spell right, sales. Then we need to know the name. We also need to know the target, which was the target amount given. And then we're going to have a range. And the range will be all of the sales amounts for all of our salespeople so that we can then search them and use the rank function. So those are the ones I'm going to use. I hit enter. Now it recognizes what's happening here. It's a function. And if I'm going to be following precise coding rules, I'm going to give all of my variables a dimension statement and define what kind of variable they are. Let's be good programmers. So my sales amount is going to be just a straight number, and I'll just do a double because it's an integer, but I think we go over, I think an integer can only be a certain number. So double will make sure that we get that. We're going to make our name a string. We're going to make our target also as a double. And we're going to do our range as a range variable. I think maybe it needs to be something else. Maybe it's variant. We'll do a variant. Okay, so those are the kinds of variables we need. If you don't do a variable definition, it'll just assume the largest and most memory hogging variable type, which is variant. If you're going to be elegant in your code, you can even go down to booleans, which only take one bit. That's either true or false. So once we have our variables ready, we're going to take and start operating on them. So let's take, and first thing we're going to do is ask ourselves if the sales are worthy of commission. Okay, now let's look at our rule. If we're 10,000 or over, we get 9%. If we're 7,500 and over, we get 7%, and so on. So I want to start my if statement by looking at whether it's large enough to get the highest amount. So I'm going to start with the highest. If sales are greater than or equal to 10,000, then we're going to take, we should call a new one here. We're going to use an internal variable. This one's not passed to us through the function, as these four are. An internal variable is, we'll just call it commission rate, and we'll make it a currency. Currency has 2 decimal places of precision, so I think that'll be fine. So if our sales are greater than 10,000, then our comm rate, or commission rate, is equal to 0.09. Else, if our sales are greater than or equal to 7,500, then our comm rate is equal to 0.07. Let's double check that. I think it's 0.07. 7, right. And then 5,005, 1,003. Okay, so let's do this. Else if sales greater than or equal to 5,000, then comm rate equals 5%, 0.05. Else if sales are greater than or equal to, what was that last one? 2,500? Let me check. 1,000. Then comm rate equals 0.03. Okay, so our commission rate is going to be equal to 0, else in any other situation comm rate is equal to 0. That'll keep it from being a blank variable. Okay, so now we have a commission rate, but we need to check for some special rules. The special rules depend on the name. So we've checked sales, now let's check name. If name equals, I think that was our first one, Prince Mail, we're going to add 0.05 to commission rate. So we'll take comm rate equals comm rate plus 0.05. Now let's read that, because the comm rate comes out of this first set here. I can write notes to myself by using a quote. Okay, so this if statement sends the basic commission rate. Okay, now this if statement adjusts the rate for exceptions. So we would have a comm rate coming through for Prince Mayo that would be equal to 11,726, so we would be getting 9%, and then we're going to add 0.05 to that. So it would be 9 plus 0.05. Else if name equals Bianca Yoder. I can copy and paste, so I'll just take copy and then paste. Then comm rate equals comm rate plus, okay, what does she get? Let's take a look. 0.75 plus 0.75. Else if name equals, let's go get the next name, which is something made up. Let's see. Copy. I got these off of a website. They're interesting names. So we'll go back to Visual Basic, paste that, and comm rate equals comm rate. But she had a different version. We're not adding anything, we're just doubling it. So she gets double. So comm rate times 2. Else if name equals copy that, go back, and this person gets half. So else if it's her, comm rate equals comm rate divided by 2. Alright, and comm rate is going to come straight through unchanged if it's not equal to any of these 4. That reminds me, I have to put an end if statement. Okay, so far so good. My comm rate should be adjusted right. So this if statement adds the multiplier bonus. Okay, for reaching the target, if let's see, each person has a, let's stretch this out here, each person has the target and sales. So if sales minus target is greater than, I think it's 1,500. Pause this. Okay, so if it's over 1,000, meaning if the sales are 1,000 more than the target amount, we're going to double this. So let's do this again. If sales minus target is greater than 1,000, then comm rate equals comm rate times 2. Else, if sales minus target is greater than 500, then I put a space in my else if. That's a no-no. There we go. Then comm rate equals comm rate times 1.5. Else, if sales minus target is, let's see, I think these can be, got it, understood. I think these can be greater than or equal to. And then this greater than equal to minus 250, then comm rate equals comm rate times 1.25. Good, okay. And then anybody else gets the same, they just don't get the multiplier bonus. So if sales is much lower than target, so that sales minus target is greater, is lower than negative 250, it just goes through this as a 1. So I've done that one now. So now we have one last section. We apply the rank bonus to the top 3 salespeople. Alright, now the rank function is a worksheet function. So what we're going to do is say worksheet function dot rank, and then our argument number 1 is the sales amount, so I'll type sales, and then number 2 is our range, which is a whole range of the sales, and that's going to return a number that's 1 through, I think we have 24, so we have 20 people here, so the ranking will be 1 through 20. And all we're worried about is if it is less than 4, because that would mean it's a 1, 2, or 3. Then we take, let's try something here. Let's make it, so we're going to calculate the commission by doing comm rate, the name of our function is sales commission. So whatever I set sales commission, that's the answer. So sales commission is going to equal comm rate times sales. But if you're in the top 3, we're going to take whatever sales commission is and just add 2,500 to it. That's their bonus. So end if there and end function. So let's see if we did it right. So now we go back into our project. It's taking sales first, then target, then name, sales target name, sales target name, sales name target. Okay, so that's mixed up. So I want the name to be second and the target third. So name is second, target is third. Duplicate declaration. So the problem with the variable, if we look at the Visual Basic, in a function, I define the variable in the function itself. So when it saw my variables with their own dimension, sales, it didn't like that because that was doing it twice. So if I was going to define my variables, I'd say sales as a double, I'd say name as a string, I'd say target as a, let's use a double as well, and then sales range as range, whoops, there we go. I've got a second one. Okay, so the point being that when you define your variables, it's very picky about doing it twice. Now, the comm rate is an internal variable, so I can define that one as currency, and that'll be fine. And now how to check it. What I do is I go back here, and let's step through it. So if I hit F2, okay, and hit enter, it should, no it didn't, it should take me back. So let's take a look here. What I want to do is I want to step through this. So F2, return, Visual Basic. Oh, I need a breakpoint. Silly. Okay, so a breakpoint is a place where the processing of the function stops. So if I stop it right at the top, go in here, F2, enter. Now it takes me back. Now this is a great way to debug your code. If you hover your cursor over anything, it'll tell you what the number is. See it? Sales is 11726. It won't let me go back to the worksheet, but trust me, it was 1126. Now if I hit the F8 key, it steps through each one. Since my sales were over that, it went down to this line, and then it went to the end of the if. What is the name? Name is Prince Miles. So this one's going to execute the next line. It's going to take comm rate of 09 and add 05. So when I get past that, now comm rate is 0.14. My sales is the same, my target. So we'll go into the next one. So it passed this if statement. It's going to double the comm rate. So as soon as I go to the next line, now comm rate is double. Sales commission is empty right now, but I'm going to fill it up when I get to 0.28 times that. So it's 3283. I never know quite where to hover for a worksheet function. It doesn't always work the way you think it will. So we're going to pass it the range, and if it's less than 4, it's not telling me right now, it was. So it went into here and it added that 2500 in function. So you can do that for any one of these. So let's take this Tiffany there, and let's do F2, enter. Because I have my breakpoint there, that little red thing, I can step through. She goes all the way through before her sales, so she has 03. She has none of the exceptions, goes right through that. Her target was 9,000, so she didn't come anywhere near her target, so it goes right through that. Comes down here, her comm rate was 3, sales, and I think she's not going to be in the top, so it'll skip over that right to the end. Okay, now be sure to hover over this and click it off so that when you go back to your reset, hit the reset button, boom. When you go back and you take it and double click down, everything is just fine. So just to go over that again, if you want to look at your code working, go to the code, click in this little area here, that's called a breakpoint. You can have lots of them. We just want one. And then if I go back up here and I do my VBA, F2, enter, it'll take me and give me a chance to step through using the F8 key. F8, step by step, goes right through. And that way I can see what's going on with my variables by hovering over them and seeing what calculates. So let's go back. Again, on formulas, insert function. There's my sales commission. If I go to more functions, oh come on, where is it? Maybe it's the insert function. I'm still here. But if I want to see it somewhere else, there's what I want to look for. I change this category to user-defined, and that'll go and tell me what's going on. I think you can even write a help for the function if you wish, but that'd be another project. So that's writing your own function, the sales commission function, and I'll clear my breakpoint, save it as. It'd be terrible to do all this work. Okay, I have to reset, go back to Excel, and I'm going to save this as a macro-enabled workbook, because even though it's a built-in formula and not a macro, you'll lose the contents of that module. So accounting 386 VBA user entered function video file, and I'll save it as macro-enabled workbook, save, and I'll post this for you. So see, look at that, didn't take too long. All right, good luck.